Our Lego League attracted last year teams from 42 countries. If you want to be worried about perspective of our kids versus the rest of the world, the little country of Singapore, after seeing the impact it had on kids' attitudes, last year had 500 teams. 30, as I said. This is the team from South Korea that won the event. We now have an intermediate scale event. This is what the, hopefully you'll see these kids here tonight. I wish I could talk about all these scales of events, but they'll kill me. One of my guys was walking around Ghana in Africa a year ago. I opened up my email one morning in the middle of our season, in our build season, and there's a note. He said, Dean, I thought you'd want to see this. I'm here in Ghana looking for places to put your little water machines, and I had to stop and take a picture of this sign. But in the little African country of Ghana, a bunch of people got together and decided they're going to sponsor a bunch of kids that are going to build a robot to come to America to compete in this competition. And that team showed up, and they actually did pretty well. Very quick, our growth. You're business people, you care about growth. One event in Manchester 18 years ago. 5 years later, we started with regionals. This is what we looked like last year. Yes, San Diego's in there. Here's our numbers. We had 16,800 teams. We had 43 cities hold regionals. We had kids from 11 countries. In our middle-level schools, in our youngest schools, we had 13,705 different teams from different schools from 42 countries. In our newest intermediate program, 1,000. This is the scale of growth. This is the scale of participants. For those of you who think that I'm making this up or I'm a zealot and you have to discount my sense of the impact of the program, here's what the Ford Foundation paid credible third-party people that do social impact studies at Brandeis University. They did a 4-year analysis of kids that have come through FIRST programs from every different socioeconomic and distribution of schools in the United States. And this is what they found. Kids were 50% more likely to go to college, 3 times more likely to major in engineering, 9 times more likely to do what they saw the mentors doing, giving back and working with other people, 4 times more likely to make these career choices, 2.5 times more likely to volunteer in the community. I'm going to have to stop. So, among women, 300%. In the world of education, you write papers if you get 3%. This is 300%. This is the effect you have on women. Among minorities, 150%. We're now at a point where we have 70 universities sponsoring their high schools and putting teams on the field. And last year, at the finals, they handed out $11 million in scholarships. Think about this, people. We now have universities. We have universities giving scholarships to scholars. It's a weird concept in America, but anything could happen here. This man you'll care a lot about. His name is Walt Havenstein. He was last year's, he won the award for being the best corporate sponsor of our organization. As of this moment, he is still the chairman of BAE, a major sponsor of your event here. By next month, he's going to be the chairman of SAIC. I talked to him Friday and said, Walt, did I just lose one of my best sponsors? Or can I assume SAIC and San Diego are going to be another major hub for us? And he said, Dean, you tell them Monday night that SAIC is going to be a major new hub for support for FIRST. When we gave him the award last year, he stood on stage at the Georgia Dome, looked out after getting this great recognition from his peers and everybody else, and he made a comment that I thought was so good, we've stolen it. We use it all the time now. But he looked out at all these kids, 72,000-seat Georgia Dome, 85,000 engineers donating their time last year, and he said, we're in this not for philanthropy, but for our future. We support this program because it's the only sport where every kid can turn pro. That's what he said. We now use it as a tagline. I had one other guest, and if I have 1 minute, do I have a minute? So 18 years ago, we had President Bush there. Every year since he left and every year since Clinton left, we invite them back just to see how things are going. They each brought the kids to the White House. Bush showed up, talked to the kids. He was in the middle of making his remarks, which I thought might be some canned remarks. He's now 83 years old. He might not remember what this thing was like 18 years ago. As he walked onto stage, I said to him, Mr. President, they're all jazzed up for this competition. Dean, I remember how neat this is. He puts down his remarks, he looks up, and he says, wow, this is just like WWF. The first thing I'm thinking is, did he have to pick that sport? And the second thing I'm thinking is, does he watch that stuff? But he looks up and he says, this is just like WWF, but for smart people. Kids in that pit area I showed you about that are always making stuff to bribe the judges with, by the time he left, I'm walking through the pits an hour later, and a kid hands me this button. First, like WWF, but with smart people, George Herbert Walker Bush. I sent the president 2 of these. I sent him 2 of these buttons in my thank you letter and told him that we'd like to make him our chief marketing officer. I got a quick note back from him. I said, Dean, due to other commitments, I can't take that position. But I'm very proud of what First is, and you're welcome to use my likeness in that line any way you like, which we do. So I'm all done. I'll just remind you that education isn't filling a pail. Don't blame the teachers. They'll do a great job. Education in this country will work if the technical community can inspire kids the way the athletes and entertainers do to do something with their lives. I started with a scientist, Einstein. I'll finish with a poet, Yeats, who said, education isn't filling a pail, it's lighting a fire. If you people don't go out and light the fires to get kids to do what they need to be doing, who's going to do it? So we made it easy, we made it fun. There's people in this room that'll help you get organized. San Diego ought to make sure, as part of your cooperation with each other, you're the first really major city in this country to have First in every one of your schools. When I say that, I've been told I'm too pushy, so I'll fix it. This is the new kinder, gentler dean. We don't need it in every school. Only in the schools where you give a damn about the kids.